Hello everyone. Welcome to Introduction to Robotic Process Automation webinar hosted by the FOSS community of SLIIT. Today we have our speaker Lahiru Fernando, who is a UiPath MVP, country director and executive lead of REPA, and the community leader for SAARC region, UiPath moderator and mentor. Lahiru, the platform is yours.
Hello everyone, good evening. So I hope you all are doing good and safe. So today's topic is about introducing robotic process automation. And before getting into that, I will just give a small introduction about a small thing about how I got into RPA. So previously I was into data analytics, and I started my career in 2011 after completing my degree in the Staffordshire University. So after that, I have been into BI and data warehousing side of things for a while. And in 2019, I thought of basically I got the opportunity to explore RPA, and that's where I actually started my journey in robotic process automation. And since then, I have been into this field, and it has been very interesting and challenging as well. So, that being said, let's start on the topic. So, let me share my screen. Um, you see my screen now? Okay, cool. So, introduction to robotic process automation. So, before getting into RPA, first we will actually look at few other things like history of the automation and introduction to digital transformation and RPA. And then we'll see why RPA is important and what are the current trends and how we can learn this topic. So, just like any other domain, there's a long history for RPA as well. So basically, this does not start with RPA itself. It all starts with the word robot. So we have been talking about these robots for a long, long time. But I have few things here that I noted down. And when it comes to these things, these are some key points that happened over the time. So in 1921, there was a Czech writer called Karl Capek. So he used the term robot in one of the things he wrote. So since then, there have been a lot of things happening in this industry, and over time in 1942, there were like three laws introduced for these robots, like a robot should not injure a human, for example, and um, and a robot must make sure that it preserves its own existence, but it does not conflict, get into any conflicts with humans, which is the main rule. And likewise, there are a few key rules. And then in 1968, there was another interesting thing happened. There was a mobile robot called Shaki. So all these are physical robots, nothing related to software or anything. The things that can move around on its own. And so there were a lot of things going on with these things. So over time, there were a lot of improvements that has been happening, and this robot Shaki can actually move around and find its own charging place, for example. And then in 1997, um, IBM supercomputer called Deep Blue, it was able to defeat one of the best chess players. And since then, we all know now that even our mobile phones has some kind of AI in it. You can name it, whether it's Samsung or iPhone. We all have different AI capabilities included in these phones to do certain things. And not only that, today we also have different uh, robots like drones, for example, that can move around, take things across different places. And these things have been used in many industries, in manufacturing and in supply chain to deliver goods to different people, and also in many other areas like healthcare, for example. And if you actually look at 2019, there's been 2.6 million industrial robots used globally. And during this period where we were all suffering from COVID, one thing that we noticed again from China is that they also tried to use robots to actually help the people uh, who are infected with this, to help them and cure them. There are a lot of things that has been happening along with these robots. So it is not just robots now; it is just robots and artificial intelligence. Everything is combined into one. So from where all these things started is actually from the manufacturing industry, because that's where all the robotics came into action. And you can actually see these things happening if you check YouTube on car manufacturing uh, areas. So you can actually see robots working together to to manufacture the vehicles that we are driving today. So that is how automation has evolved. And along with that, so why we have included and implemented all these things, these are very interesting stuff. But why did we do it? It's because that we wanted to improve the productivity. So basically what has actually happened is, over time we have been getting into so many different things, and that has actually created a lot of work for us, irrespective of the industry that we are in. We have got into so many different things to do, and with that, that has created so much of work, and that's why we kept on introducing these robots and different kind of automation to help us do our work. So what actually happened with that is, as you see in the graph, over time the productivity actually increased, and with that, um, to increase productivity even more, we even started introducing different other things like software in our computers, and that's even why a computer was also introduced. And once the computer was introduced, we started introducing different software to help things that we do, even on a computer. So all that was done to increase the productivity. But there's the this is the key. We kept on again introducing different kind of software, different kind of applications, and everything to improve our productivity. But that also came to a point where we ended up having so many different applications, and still one single thing remains same. For all of these things to work, we as human beings has to be there to work on those systems. So though that helped to improve our productivity, but still we had to do a lot of things in a different way. So that's why um, now we are talking about this automation, especially the robotic process automation. So I'll tell you what that is in a short while. But here, what I'm trying to say is, If you actually look at your own computer, your personal machine, you can actually see different applications like Outlook, spreadsheets, Word files, and many other things that you use every day to perform different things. And now, for us to work on these things, again, just like I said before, we can work faster, but still we have to do it. So, what is happening now is, and this has been happening for a while, with the modern technologies that we have, we call it digital transformation. So what happens with that is that we use the new technology to ensure that these things are done automatically, so that even the most complicated things can be done automatically without us being involved or with minimum involvement, so that we have a lot of time with us to take care of many other things. So I'll show you a small video. So this basically explains everything that I mentioned before. So let's quickly have a look. Tell me if you don't
This
hear the
is the
sound.
story of work. It started a long time ago, on a Monday, which was handy. For as long as history itself, the humans needed to work. They wanted to work, to grow things and create things and build things, to see what they were capable of, to stand at day's end and say, I did that, which felt pretty good. So they worked more, built more, and created more, and traveled to far-off places. And then someone suggested submitting expense reports to those far-off places. His name was Glenn, and he was a jackass. Anyway, the people kept getting better at work. They built better tools to work more efficiently. They built amazing machines to work faster. They built computers to work smarter. But still, they couldn't do enough work. Because during all that work to do more work, they had created work, and not the good kind. Not the let's sit around and come up with ideas kind. Not the I can't wait to get to work so I can jump into a new project kind. The crap kind. The drudge and data and admin and the damned expense reports. So the humans had to work more at work they didn't like. That made them robotic. That didn't inspire. They had to postpone vacations. They had to miss family dinners. They were pissed. And then something happened. Someone had a really amazing idea. They came to work and said, stop working and start working. The humans thought she might have had wine at lunch, so she showed them a way to put the fun back into work, to waste less time doing the things they hated, to make more efficient the big tasks, to stop making the humans act like robots, and start teaching the robots to learn the humans, not to replace people, but to free them. Even Glenn, robots that learn you. Imagine the potential, like starting over, to help us remember again that work only really works when we're happy at it.
Okay. So that is the summary of the same thing that I have been telling. 1 second. Okay. Um, yeah. So basically, that is the summary of the same thing that I explained. So this is what we are talking about today, and not only us, um, across the world, a lot of people are actually looking into this. They are implementing this, and they are using this not only on enterprise level but also on personal level as well. It's because we also do a lot of things that we do repetitively every day. So we'll get to that. And before that, I have another short video that you might be interested in seeing. So this basically explains this concept of digital transformation and RPA and where this thing is used. I'll explain those things in more detail, but I think this video will help to better understand why we are talking about this.
Another key part that human intervention at speed fast.
Um, so, 1 second. Cool. So, before continuing, I just wanted to say that just like what you saw in the video, um, this automation is actually today is actually combined with so many different technologies like AI and machine learning, natural language processing, and so many things to actually ease out the things that we are doing. So it's not only just used in one single domain, but as you saw in the video, it is used on so many domains like retail, supply chain, education, healthcare, finance, and many other industries. And few examples to give is that if you might have noticed during this period of COVID that was initially affected, right? Most of us actually had to work from home, and even in the universities, we had to do the lectures and everything remotely. So what actually happened is during this time, most of us were actually used to work from office, right? We were not really ready to do things from home, except few industries. So what actually happened was when people are at home taking care of themselves, we need to figure out a way to get things done in these companies. So that's where we actually saw a huge demand for automation, and people started investing more on these things, and they started implementing different solutions for them using these technologies that are available today to get things done while people are at home taking care of themselves. And the other thing is there have been a lot of innovations and a lot of things going on in the healthcare side to help um, control COVID as well. This has been happening across the world on many different countries. So these are some nice things that has happened over the time. So that being said, let's get back to the flow. Now I will actually tell you what this digital transformation is and what RPA is and how it works. So let me share my screen again. Um, okay, so now we are going to talk about the digital transformation. So this is actually a process of using digital technologies to create or modify existing business processes, the culture, or the customer experiences to meet changing business and market requirements. So this is more like a definition. So what basically happens here is now when it comes to digital transformation, we are not talking about those physical robots that move here and there to get things done, or even automated cars. That's not what we are talking about. When it comes to digital transformation and RPA, we are talking about mainly the software side. So we have used so many different software applications as of today. So this is all about how we are going to automate what we are doing in a computer, and that's where this digital transformation comes in. So there have been several stages into this. So the first one is digitization. So before getting introduced into this digital world, we have been doing things in paper. So that can be handwritten documents or even typed documents. We use these even today. And with digitization, what happens is that what we convert these files or this data into a computer-friendly format. Which means if you have a hard copy of a file, you are going to get a soft copy by converting it, so that you can use it in your computer. So that is the process of digitization. So this has been happening a lot in all the industries. Whenever we introduce these software applications, we do that to get the data into digital form. And then there's another one called digitalization. This is process of using digitized information from this step to make established ways of working. So basically find efficient ways of working using these software applications that we use today. And then what happens with digital transformation is that, so now we have these applications. Now what we are doing is using this digital technology, we are going to find even better ways of working and make sure we do the manual things that we do digitally. So that means the things that we are doing in a computer, to see, we can see how we can automate that part so that someone else can take care of it instead of us. When I say someone else, it is not another person, it is a software that is used in a computer. So this is the process of digital transformation. And when we talk about this digital transformation, that is where the RPA, or the robotic process automation, comes into play. So now we will talk about what is robotic process automation. So in the most simple terms, you have actually seen the physical robots and doing stuff, especially in manufacturing industry. That's the most easiest things to understand. You have seen these robots working together to build your vehicle. Just like that, in our software, in our computer, a software robot or a software program can help us to do what we are doing. So, what it does is, so just think of what you do when you interact with your computer. Just think about the things you do. The first thing you do is you read whatever the things that you see on the screen. Even now, you are doing that. And then, when you are working, what do? You interact with your keyboard to type. and you interact with your mouse to point things and do certain stuff. So these are the things, or these are the ways that we interact with our computer. So what happens is, with this software program, it will try to emulate or simulate the same thing that we are doing to interact with this your computer on its own, so that we don't need to do it. So just imagine that you are going to buy a mobile phone, and what do? The first thing is, you just go to Google, you go to a specific website, you search what are the phones that I need to buy, what's the price range, the features, everything. And after going through several products, you are going to decide, this is what I'm going to buy. So for that, what are your interactions with your computer? You will basically type, you will interact with your web browser, and you will see, which means you are reading the information on the screen. And finally, you will make a decision that you are going to purchase something. So instead of you doing that, imagine a software program doing that for you. This is possible. So I'll tell you one small example again. When I used to learn this about several years back, one of the first programs that I created is this same thing, because I was very much interested in looking for this kind of stuff to purchase. So I used to spend a lot of time almost every week to go through different websites, look for different products, compare the prices, compare the features, and keep track of what I can buy. So I just thought, while learning this, maybe I can just give it a try to automate this and see if it can give me what I'm looking for. So I created a simple process to do that, and it was doing that on its own. And only thing that I need to look at is, so it goes through all these websites, look for the product that I'm looking for based on my budget, and it sends me an email saying, here is here is the list that you might be interested in buying. And all I need to do is just look at that list and select what I need to get. Um, so it's simple. So this is what we call as robotic process automation. So it's basically a computer software that simulates your interaction in a digital system and execute certain processes. So what are the benefits of this? Why we talk about this? When we are doing it, we always get tired after some time, and we lose concentration. And this can lead to delays. This can lead to certain errors. Just imagine you are trying to fill a long form, for a number of hours, trying to enter different data. You can do things in a wrong way as well. It's not intended, but it can happen. It always happens. And with these things, you can actually improve the accuracy, because once you have this automated thing running, it will not do any kind of mistakes like that. And we need rest. We can't work all 24 hours. So with this thing, it does not need rest. It does not need to go on vacation. It will do things all 24 hours, 365 days, anything that you say. And the other good thing is the accuracy you have, and you have the productivity and efficiency will definitely improve. And with these tools, what other benefits that we get is that, um, so these things work with software applications, as I said before, because it's working in a computer. The good thing is, it does not require us to change these applications to support its thing. So basically, for us to work, we don't need to change different things in these applications, right? Just like that, it will work on its own, and we don't need to do any change in the applications. So that's another good thing. What happens with introducing many software systems is that sometimes you might not have that compatibility, you might not have that capability to integrate different systems. So you need to basically change these applications. But with this, that is not needed. And you can actually, once it is built, you can actually use it and adapt it in different um, areas as well within the company. So these are some of the benefits, and this is why people tend to get into this and use it. And just with the upfront cost, they can use this on many different things, not only on one task, and that will actually improve a lot of things. So when you say robotic process automation, this also evolved over a period of time. If you just think about the Excel that we all know, the Microsoft Excel, it has the capability to write macros and do simple things, right? Just copying data from one place to another, doing some manipulations on the data. So these are little automation tasks that are limited to that particular application in Excel. So just like that, over time, people also introduce different software systems that has certain capabilities to do certain stuff automatically. And then again, over time, we combined different technologies like AI, machine learning, natural language processing, these kind of things to do even better things. So with these technologies, what has happened is it is now not limited to a specific application. Now it can be used across any kind of software application to do anything you want. And then with these AI capabilities, the interesting thing is this RPA can actually, it also works together with AI, and it also improves the AI capability of the system so that it can do things even better. So these are some of the stuff that it can perform. Basically, it will emulate a person's things. What you usually do is we implement these things on repetitive tasks. We don't implement RPA on a task that you just do today and forget about it. That's not the case. We do it, we implement it on repetitive things. Just imagine another scenario where you're going to you have joined a company, and what you have to do is every day morning you just need to check your emails and make sure that uh, you need to respond to those things. If there are any attachments, you need to download, check the data for accuracy, and if everything is fine, update in a system, else reply to them asking for new or updated version of that data. That you will do every single day. And these are the kind of things that we can actually automate. And so it is not just a set of tasks that we do. We can also make decisions based on certain rules. So these decisions also again have different levels. Like it can be very simple decisions like yes, no kind of things, but some decisions may depend on our experience as well. So there are certain instances like that where the robot will actually work with us to do the things. Because when it comes to the experience of a person, that cannot be simulated in any way. So there are certain instances where this software or the robot that works on these things needs to connect with us, get the input, and then do the rest of the things. Yeah. So these things will actually improve the customer experience, and just like I said before. And if you're actually thinking of what are the things that it can do, basically thinking of logging into any kind of application, moving files from one place to another, organizing files in your machine, connecting with different databases, accessing the data, doing different manipulations, and generating reports. You can do all these stuff. And if you want to get data from different web pages, that is also possible. And how about the IoT devices, different sensors? That is also possible. It can connect to many things and get the data and perform a lot of things on these things. And making calculations is another thing. So it is not just limited to these things. There are so many other things that it can do. These are very simple things that I have listed. Okay, so now we have talked about RPA and what it can do, and few things that I have also explained that has happened over the period of time. And now let's see what are the tools or what are the companies that are out there who provide this facility to us. So one of these things is that through the Gartner Magic Quadrant, this is last year, it has done it basically does this analysis every year, and it gives us who are the market leaders in this automation industry. So basically, you can see on the right hand side over here, you have UiPath, you have Automation Anywhere, you have Microsoft, and another company called Blueprint. So basically, these are the four leaders in the market. And out of that, UiPath is leading at the forefront. And yeah, so Microsoft is also there. Microsoft actually introduced their thing recently, but they also have a lot of good capabilities. Yeah, so this is another analysis done like that by Forrester. And again, here you can see UiPath is leading. Okay, so now we'll talk about the automation today. So now I mentioned that RPA is actually combined with AI, and it basically to do all the things. This combination is what's working together. So when you say automation, we can actually split this into three different areas like document understanding, conversational understanding, and visual understanding. By the name of it, document understanding means looking at the documents, any kind of document that you can think of. It has different layouts, it has different data. It can be handwritten, it can be computer generated, anything. Today, RPA and AI, this combination, can actually understand any kind of document and process it. And then, when it comes to visual understanding, that is what you see on your screen. I mentioned before that we are working with so many different applications, and it has its own complexities. It is built on different platforms, different languages, programming languages. So, how to understand this? For us, it's easy. We can just look at it and we know how to interact with the stuff. Just like that, a software, a robot should also be able to understand what it see on the screen for it to interact with. So that again is combined with RPA and AI. And then the interesting thing, conversational understanding. Have you heard about chatbots? I'm sure you have heard about it. And you might have even used this on your phones. You have Siri, and when it comes to Android, you have Bixby. All these are some AI robots that do certain things for you based on understanding what you are saying. And it also has the capability to respond to you just like that and build up a conversation to do certain things just like that. In We can also build these kind of chatbots very easily today, not only to understand what you type, but also to understand what you're saying. And it can easily convert it to its format that it can understand, do the thing, and convert it back to the way that you want in any language. So there are so much of things that's happening in all these areas. So that's why it is very important. So again, going back to that same thing, just to highlight few things, how these things work together. RPA is basically used for processors that has a lot of data that is repetitive and where people need to sit and do certain things for a long time. And yeah, and also you need to make sure that data is on electronic format, something that the computer can understand, because it is not capable of understanding a piece of paper. It has to be in a machine, in a digital format. And when it comes to AI, that's what we use to do certain things like natural language understanding, just like I mentioned before, for these chatbots. And based on these things, it can learn. It can do certain predictions for you, and it can also come up with different reasoning on these things, and it can learn on its own. So all these combination will work together, will give a great strength and power to do any kind of thing that you can think of. So are these things difficult? No, it's very easy. Before getting into that, I'll tell you what are the trends that we see today. First, for AI. So you can see people are actually spending a lot of money on AI, and see the trend for 2025. It is going for decision support and augmentation stuff and many other things. And yeah, so 83% of businesses found increasing AI and ML budgets. So there's a lot of investment going on in the companies on these technologies. So um, this is why it is very important for us to learn this. In universities today, they are teaching this technology, RPA, for their students because it's going to be very important in in the coming days when you get into your first job. This thing will be something very common. Just like we need to know how to use a computer, it will be a situation where you need to know RPA to start things off. And here are some trends for RPA. So on your left hand side, you can see some. This is again based on the RPA developer report last year. You can see the how it is being used across different industries, especially finance and banking. And then you can also see on this section, 82% of those who were surveyed are considering a job change into RPA after they graduate. So this is how things are. So that's why it is very important to learn RPA now itself and make sure you are ready when the time comes. So I'll show you another small video. This is again a very interesting thing. This is by Google, and just listen to this, how this thing works, and it is very fun.
The progress of the assistant. As I said earlier, our vision for our assistant is to help you get things done. It turns out a big part of getting things done is making a phone call. You may want to get an oil change schedule, maybe call a plumber in the middle of the week, or even schedule a haircut appointment. We are working hard to help users through those moments. We want to connect users to businesses in a good way. Businesses actually rely a lot on this, but even in the US, 60% of small businesses don't have an online booking system set up. We think AI can help with this problem. So let's go back to this example. Let's say you want to ask Google to make you a haircut appointment on Tuesday between 10 and noon. What happens is the Google Assistant makes the call seamlessly in the background for you. So what you're going to hear is the Google Assistant actually calling a real salon to schedule the appointment for you. Let's listen.
How can I help you? Hi, I'm calling to book a women's haircut for a client. I'm looking for something on May 3rd. Sure, give me 1 second. Sure, what time are you looking for around? At 12 p.m. We do not have a 12 p.m. available. The closest we have to that is a 1:15. Do you have anything between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m.? Depending on what service she would like, what service is she looking for? Just a woman's haircut for now? Okay, we have it 10 o'clock. 10 a.m. is fine. Okay, what's your first name? The first name is Lisa. Okay, perfect. So I will see Lisa at 10 o'clock on May 3rd. Okay, great. Thanks, great. Have a great day. Bye.
That was a real call you just heard. The amazing thing is the assistant can actually understand the nuances of conversation. We've been working on this technology for many years. It's called Google Duplex. It brings together all our investments over the years in natural language understanding, deep learning, text-to-speech. By the way, when we are done, the assistant can give you a confirmation notification saying your appointment has been taken care of. Let me give you another example. Let's say you want to call a restaurant, but maybe it's a small restaurant which is not easily available to book online. The call actually goes a bit differently than expected. So take a listen.
Yeah, may I hear you?
Hi, I'd like to visit a table for Wednesday the 7th.
For 7 people?
It's for 4 people.
4 people? When?
Next Wednesday at 6 p.m.
Oh, actually, we need to go after 5 people. For 4 people, you can come.
How long is the wait usually to be seated?
When, tomorrow or weekday or?
For next Wednesday, the 7th.
Oh, no, it's not too busy. We can come for 4 people, okay?
Oh, I gotcha. Thanks.
Okay.
The promise.
Okay, so that is a very interesting video. And now let's see how we can actually learn. But before getting into that, are there any questions, comments? No. Okay. So let me tell you how you can learn this. So as I mentioned before, the leading technology is UiPath. So you can easily learn it online, and this tool has a free version or a community version that you can easily use. So let me show you different sites that you can use for this. Uh, yes. Okay. All right. So here, one is the UiPath Academy. So this is a place where you can sign up for free using your personal account or any account that you like. And here you will see a lot of courses. So if you go to courses, you can see so many different courses, 151. And if you are finding it difficult from where to start, go for this learning by role. So this is where you can see all the learning programs. You can easily start from the RPA Developer Foundation, and then RPA Developer Starter, Foundation, and then keep on learning. So maybe you are not very interested in getting into development, or you might be interested in getting into infrastructure side of things, or you might want to be a business analyst. So depending on your interest, select the courses here and you can easily learn. And this tool is also, as I mentioned before, it has a community version. You can easily download and install it. And the next thing is the UiPath Community Forum. So this is a good place for you to interact with experts across the world. Whatever the question you have, go here, search for it. If you find an answer, that's great. If you do not find an answer, post your question, and there are people out there ready to help, and they will definitely help you on certain things. So this is a good place to interact with people, get to know different people in the industry. So keep yourself open for networking as well, because this place is not just for getting answers and getting writing questions. You make use of that to connect with people while you get your things sorted out, because these connections will actually help once you start looking for opportunities and different jobs. They might be able to help you. And also there are like different areas where you can actually try doing certain challenges. Those things are also available. And if you want to see what are the different use cases that are available, that people are working on different companies, you can also look for those things under use case repository. And if you're looking for job opportunities, that is also available here. So learn, interact with people, uh, and keep on learning, and also make sure you get the certification. As I mentioned before, this is a very important technology nowadays, and people are actually looking for it. So um, learn it and try to get yourself certified as well. And then the other platform is the UiPath community, community.uipath.com. So what happens here is you can actually access all the events, the live events that are happening across the globe on different topics. So you can see here in Americas there are so many areas in here, and also in Asia Pacific. All of these we call these chapters. All of these chapters have events happening probably every week or every once a month. So keep track of these things, and this is also a good way of understanding how to do certain stuff. So for example, I'll show you. Um, there is yeah, this one. So if you actually look at this chapter, So you can see past events and you can see what's going to happen upcoming. So this is happening on 28th, this is happening on June 4th. So there are so many things going on. So this is actually a good way for you to, once you get the basic things, you can actually see how and what people are doing and how they use these technologies to get things done, how it works with other technologies, just like what you see on the screen. So these are some good ways of learning this. And other than that, you can always reach out to me as well through social media. You can use LinkedIn, you can use Facebook, anything. Feel free to reach out and we can always help and guide. So that being said, I think I have completed my session for today. I hope this was interesting and it was helpful. So let me know if there are any questions or anything that you want to ask. I guess not. So guys, you can take over now.
Thank you, Lahiru, for that informative session on RPA, and thank you to all our viewers for watching. I hope everyone watching gained an understanding on the overall knowledge on RPA. So wait for future seminars like these live from the SLIIT FOSS community, and do subscribe to all of our channels for updates. Till then, take care and good night.